क्या इनका कोई तौर तरीका मुसलमानों वाला है? जो ये ख़वातीन के साथ करते हैं, जो ये बच्चों के साथ करते हैं, जो ये बैठे बैठे फतवा दे के किसी भी मुसलमान के खून को अपने ऊपर हलाल कर देते हैं, इसका किस इस्लाम से ताल्लुक है? इसका किसी इस्लाम से नहीं ताल्लुक। और अल्लाह ताला ने तो बड़ा क्लियरली इस पर बड़ी वजाहत और के साथ मुसलमानों को क्लैरिटी दी हुई। सूरह आल इमरान की आयत नंबर 28 पढ़िए, क्या कहती है? क्या मोमनो, ईमान वालों को छोड़कर काफिरों को दोस्त ना बनाओ। अगर तुम ऐसा करोगे तो तुम फिर प्रॉब्लम में, देन यू आर नॉट विद अमंग्स द मुस्लिम्स। तो ये तो काफिरों को दोस्त नहीं, ये तो अपना उससे बढ़ के डीएनए वाला बना रहा है।
That is Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry, the official spokesperson of the Pakistani army. Listen carefully to what he's saying. He is responding to growing India-Afghanistan ties by invoking a Quranic verse about Muslims befriending Kaafirs or disbelievers. Now forget the rhetoric for a moment, because underneath it is a very real strategic problem for Pakistan. The Taliban was supposed to bring Afghanistan closer to Islamabad. Instead, Kabul appears to be drifting away, and India is back in the picture. So why is Pakistan so rattled by Afghanistan talking to India? Why is Pakistan army invoking religion to explain a diplomatic relationship? What does this reveal about the failure of Pakistan's Afghanistan strategy and about the collapse of Pakistan's regional influence? Pakistan's military establishment has rarely hidden its obsession with India, but this time their frustration was unusually public. The immediate trigger for the Pakistani military's outburst was an Afghan Taliban minister saying that India and Afghanistan share the same DNA. Now you'd think that would be just another diplomatic soundbite, really. Except in Pakistan, it has hit a raw nerve, because the remark came at a time when Pakistan is already watching something it deeply dislikes: Afghanistan getting closer to India. Now there's more engagement between Delhi and Kabul today. Trade ties are being explored. Taliban officials are openly talking about India as an important regional partner. And all of this is happening while Afghanistan's relationship with Pakistan is getting worse by the day. What's worse is that the Pakistani army responded not with diplomacy or geopolitics. It brought in religion. Listen to DG-ISPR's comment again.
क्या इनका कोई तौर तरीका मुसलमानों वाला है? जो ये ख़वातीन के साथ करते हैं, जो ये बच्चों के साथ करते हैं, जो ये बैठे बैठे फतवा दे के किसी भी मुसलमान के खून को अपने ऊपर हलाल कर देते हैं, इसका किस इस्लाम से ताल्लुक है? इसका किसी इस्लाम से नहीं ताल्लुक। और अल्लाह ताला ने तो बड़ा क्लियरली इस पर बड़ी वजाहत और के साथ मुसलमानों को क्लैरिटी दी हुई। सूरह आल इमरान की आयत नंबर 28 पढ़िए, क्या कहती है? क्या मोमनो, ईमान वालों को छोड़कर काफिरों को दोस्त ना बनाओ। अगर तुम ऐसा करोगे तो तुम फिर प्रॉब्लम में, then you are not with amongst the Muslims. तो ये तो काफिरों को दोस्त नहीं, ये तो अपना उससे बढ़ के डीएनए वाला बना रहा है।
Now to understand why one comment from an Afghan minister has caused such a reaction, you have to understand how Pakistan has traditionally looked at Afghanistan. For decades, Islamabad's biggest fear was fairly simple: India to its east and an India-friendly Afghanistan to its west. So Pakistan's security establishment tried every book to keep the two apart, did not want Indian influence growing in Kabul. And before the Taliban returned to power, India had built considerable influence in Pakistan. Delhi invested billions of dollars in developmental assistance. India helped build Pakistan's parliament. It built the Salma Dam, which is now officially called the Afghan-India Friendship Dam. There were roads, schools, hospitals, scholarships and other developmental projects. Now that created goodwill for India inside Afghanistan, and it created anxiety in Pakistan. Then came August 2021. The Taliban returned to Kabul, and suddenly it looked as if Pakistan had got exactly what it wanted. Except it didn't really work out that way. Fast forward to today, and Pakistan's relationship with the Taliban is anything but friendly. The biggest problem is the TTP, or the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Islamabad says TTP militants are operating from Afghan territory, carrying out attacks inside Pakistan. Now, the Afghan Taliban obviously rejects that charge completely, but this is no longer just a war of words. The relationship has seen border clashes, closure of crossings, accusations of Pakistani airstrikes inside Afghanistan, and claims of retaliation from the Afghan side. Just as Pakistan's relationship with Kabul is deteriorating, India is quietly coming back in. India has been careful here. New Delhi has not formally recognized the Taliban government, but it has also realized that pretending that the Taliban doesn't exist is not much of a strategy. So engagement has gradually increased. India has sent humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan. It has maintained a diplomatic presence. Indian officials have met senior Taliban representatives. Trade and connectivity are being discussed. And the Taliban, for its part, has increasingly signaled that it wants a working relationship with India. Why wouldn't it? After years of relying heavily on Pakistan for access and connectivity, Kabul has every reason to look for alternatives now, since the ties have frayed. India also has a very clear interest here. It doesn't want Afghanistan to once again become a base for anti-India terror groups. It does not want to abandon the goodwill and investments it has built over the last 2 decades. And it certainly doesn't want to leave Afghanistan entirely to Pakistan. So both sides have reasons to talk, which is what makes Pakistan uncomfortable. Because every time India gets more space in Kabul, Pakistan loses a little of the leverage it thought that the Taliban's return would give it. Which brings us back to that extraordinary statement from Pakistani military spokesperson. The argument essentially is this: why should a Muslim Afghanistan be so friendly with India? But that logic is problematic. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar all have major relationships with India. Indonesia, which has the world's largest Muslim majority, has deep ties with India. Because countries don't really conduct foreign policy simply on the basis of religion. They conduct it on the basis of interests, and Afghanistan is doing exactly that. Which is why Pakistan invoking religion here perhaps tells us more about Pakistan's frustration than it does about Afghanistan's foreign policy. Islamabad can't simply just tell Kabul, you owe us your loyalty. The Taliban doesn't see it that way. It has its own interests, and increasingly, those interests include India. Pakistan's real problem isn't one Afghan minister using the word DNA. It isn't even about Kaafirs. It is about a much bigger fear. Pakistan thought the Taliban's return would push India out of Afghanistan and pull Kabul closer to Islamabad. Instead, Pakistan is watching Kabul move further away, while Delhi is steadily finding its way back in. And this time, it is happening under the Taliban itself. That is the part of the story Pakistan may be finding hardest to digest. Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Times Access. Tune in every day and keep questioning the headlines.
If they had a nuclear weapon, you would...
The old rules are breaking. Alliances are shifting.
Apologize again to the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Wars are redrawing maps. Oil routes can shake economies overnight. One election in America can impact markets in Mumbai.
No tax on tips.
One move by China can alter the balance in Asia. One conflict in West Asia can hit every Indian household. This is no longer a distant story. This is our story. Your story. Because for the first time in decades, India is not watching from the sidelines. India is rising. India is negotiating. India is balancing rivals. India is building military strength. India is shaping trade routes. India is becoming central to the new global order. And yet, most global news is still told through someone else's lens. Washington's lens, Beijing's lens, London's lens. But where is India's lens? Where is the platform that explains the world from our perspective? Welcome to India's Axis, a new destination for geopolitics, strategy, and power seen through India's eyes. From Neighborhood Watch to the biggest global stories that matter to you. Why tensions in the Taiwan Strait matter to India. How one move by China can affect India's security. What turmoil in Pakistan means for regional stability. How Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan shape India's neighborhood. Why oil choke points can hit your wallet. How wars abroad can reshape India's security. This is not noise. This is not shouting. This is not recycled headlines. This is sharp, intelligent storytelling. Daily explainers, war room analysis, strategic conversations. Because news is everywhere, but perspective is rare, and in the age of confusion, clarity is power. Axis is for the audience that wants more than headlines. The axis of global power is shifting. India is at the center of that shift. It's time the world was explained accordingly. To understand the world through India's strategic lens. Subscribe now.